Shortly after graduating from college, I bought a house in the suburbs and moved in with my dog Rusty. I wanted to live in an area that was quiet and away from the city where I could gather my thoughts and focus on writing my autobiography. I would have a regular routine that I would go through that consisted of waking up, drinking coffee, and watching the news to stay informed with what was happening in the world. Before I started writing for the day, as the days went by, I noticed an increasing fascination with news reporters and journalism in general. One day, as I was finishing up a chapter in my autobiography, I came across a video asking people to apply to be a reporter for a major news network. After watching this, I knew that this was a sign from the universe that I was meant to be a reporter, so I decided to apply.
The Ailes Junior Reporters Program is the next generation of reporting. Fox News Channel is investing in the future of news, placing qualified candidates across the country and teaching them the business of journalism from the ground up, shooting, reporting, editing, producing, and creating an unprecedented amount of high-end multi-platform content. This is a training program like no other in the news business. This is the future of journalism. This is the Ailes Junior Reporters Program.
One of the requirements was to create a news story based on the area where you live. I decided to focus on skateboarding since that is a subject that I am most familiar with. One thing that I learned in reporting is that you have to have patience. Your best take is not necessarily your first one. Another thing that I learned is what makes or breaks a story for me is the use of my facial expressions. Living in Houston, which happens to be one of the most diverse cities in the country, exposes you to people of multiple cultures and backgrounds, gives you an outside perspective on how the community thinks. Another requirement for this application was to create a reel of your best reporting, asking questions regarding current events. I decided to reach out to my friend Nick Levine, who happens to be the best person I know when it comes to editing and producing film, to help create this reel for me. I'm currently standing next to the Islamic Center in downtown Houston. Muslims are a really hot topic right now, especially in current events, with what's happening in the Middle East, Europe, and especially California. But is there a correlation between radical Islamic terrorism and skateboarding? Let's get to the bottom of this and find out. The Houston Chronicle recently came out with an article comparing radical Islamic terrorism to skateboarders. Just wanting to see if you agree with that, disagree with that.
Absolutely. They're belligerent, reckless, and organized.
They're really just a mutation of Islam.
Yeah.
That was Brad. Thank you so much for your honesty and opinion. Just like to know your opinion, see if you agree with it, disagree with it.
Actually, I'm not scared of that because
I'm currently at the Rice University, a very prestigious private institute of higher education, where people come from all over the world to better themselves. There is this notion that skateboarders don't have the capacity to achieve such greatness. Are skateboarders a burden to society? There's this notion that a lot of skateboarders, smoke weed, beat their wives, just are a burden on society. Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, sure.
It's just something they live for. That's their lifestyle.
I think it's really cool. They call me realistic, the street preacher.
That's totally extreme.
Houston Chronicle recently came out with an article basically comparing skateboarders to ISIS supporters. They worship the devil. They do a lot of heroin. I mean, where do you think that belief comes from?
You know what? It comes from the belief where they said rap music put people into certain situations, just like heavy metal, there's devil worshiping and different things of that nature there. It's how you're brought up, what you do with what you have, and where you take it. Can I be honest with you? There's danger in every sport there is. I've came up playing basketball, football, sports. I've done a little skateboarding. I'm not that great at it, as you can see, but I think they should do what they're doing.
I studied journalism myself.
All right.
I agree. We tend to congregate together, and that's normally around the homeless shelters.
What are your thoughts?
I have seen some that tend to be dependent upon alcohol, which could cause a problem for stability and a lot of times when I'm asked for money, I'll offer to buy them food or have food, and they'll decline it. So I can only guess that they're wanting that money to buy, for other cigarettes or drugs or alcohol or whatever. But
I mean, I don't know how the community feels about them, but I mean, I'm personally okay with it. They're just normal people.
Well, that was Sam, and thank you so much for your opinion. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
That's a really big rail. How come skateboarders can't skate on the property, sir?
Sure. No skating on the property.
How do you feel about Houston Chronicle comparing radical Islamic terrorism to skateboarding?
I'm not allowed to comment on stuff like that, sir.
I'm here with May, who is a student, and I just wanted to ask a couple of questions. As you know, human trafficking, the sex slave, is a huge issue around the world. Just wanted to know your opinions, how you feel about it.
I'm from Thailand, and there are a lot of traffic in Thailand, especially in Bangkok. Yes, exactly. I feel bad when I stuck in the traffic, right? But in Thailand, fortunately, we have the very good transportation. We can take SkyTrain and Metro. That's easier.
Well, great. Thank you so much. That was May, a student here in Houston. Well, there you have it, folks. Houstonians weighed in. Critical issues were discussed. Everything from radical Islamic terrorism, to poverty, to human trafficking, to even just plain traffic. My name is Matthew Pollak, reporting for 24/7 News. I submitted this reel to CNN. I have always enjoyed Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper.
Sorry. All right. Sorry.
The pussy willows blowing in the wind on the shores of Lake Titicaca are almost as magical as Uranus.
Who are one of my favorite anchors. So just the thought of working with such great men in journalism really excited me. I did receive an email shortly after submitting my reel to them stating, quote, "Dear Mr. Pollak, after carefully reviewing your application, we regret to inform you that CNN will not be pursuing your candidacy. Though your qualifications are impressive, the selection process was highly competitive, and we have decided to move forward with a candidate whose qualifications better meet our needs at this time. We thank you for your interest in CNN and wish you all of the best in your future endeavors." End quote.